Another brand new episode of Skywalking Through the League. I am your host, Bill Sheehy, and I'm joined as always by my Jedi partner in crime, Trey Mitchell. Trey, are you there? How you doing today, my friend?
Go Nuggets.
Nug life, baby. You doing all right? Look at that. You hanging in there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, the audio was like being weird for a second.
Oh, are you good?
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
My audio is
Technical difficulties already. Cool. Well, this is already fun.
Okay, Bill.
This is going well.
Everything I say is echoing back to me. Hold on.
Okay.
Here, I will have you introduce our other guests while I figure that out.
Okay, sounds great. Well, besides Trey, we have two wonderful, wonderful guests and friends. First, we are joined by Lauren Romo, the cousin of former quarterback Tony Romo, I think I have here in my notes. How you doing today, Miss Lauren?
I'm good, Bill. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited. And yes, who knows? I could be related to Mr. Tony Romo. I'll have to do the family tree, and I will get back with you guys on that information because that's perfect. That's very important to know.
It is. It's important information for everyone to know. Thank you so much for coming on, and of course, we have another really, really good friend. And I always have to do the Italian hands every time I see him, every time I introduce him. Connor Giacchiti. How are you, my friend?
I'm as good as I can be.
That's so fantastic.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
It's the best way I can put it.
Absolutely. So how is everybody? What's going on in their lives today? Like, everything going okay?
Oh, there's a lot.
There is a lot.
But I won't get into it.
We won't get into it. Now, Trey, are you good, buddy? Are you still...
Yeah, it was like everything you said would repeat itself for like over and over again. So I heard Bill on top of Bill's audio on top of Bill's audio. So
too much
like
Bill.
Inception of Bill's audio. Yeah.
Way too much Bill.
Way too much Bill.
So that probably is the one complaint of this podcast. Every time there's just way too much Bill.
Yeah, there's actually been number one or a bunch of 1 stars on Spotify. It just says too much Bill, not enough Trey. So
that's was that you or Jess, or was that?
It was actually me. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Well,
that's good. You could have just told me. You don't have to like
sabotaging my own show.
Yeah, sabotage our own podcast. Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, I don't know if you've been watching our show the past couple of weeks, but we've been doing these Friday episodes talking about the Book of Boba Fett, and doing what I've been calling tipsy takes. None of the guests have to drink. It's probably just for me. Like, it's Friday night. I want the vibe to be, it's Friday night. You're at a party, you're drinking, or you're not drinking. You're just hanging out with your friends and talking about.
It's all about the vibes.
Yeah. It's all about vibes. Cut a vibe,
baby. Yeah,
that's all what it's all about. So, and I've really been liking the format the past couple of weeks. I think we've had a lot of really good discussions. We've had a little bit of chaos every now and then, which, like, good chaos is fun and makes for really, really good content. Makes for really, really good shows. And so if you want to play along at home, I have a specific little drinking game I'm going to be playing throughout the episode. Take a drink or a sip of your drink every time we say the words Filoni, George Lucas, or Ben Solo. So, George Lucas, Filoni, Ben Solo. I said it 3 times, therefore I would drink. Delicious.
Going so well.
Delicious. So, enough of that. Let's get into the meat and potatoes about what we're talking about today. The Book of Boba Fett, Episode 6, A Stranger from the Desert. So what I really, really loved about this episode, and we'll get into it here when I push it off to you guys. The reaction on social media was all over the place.
Connor hated it. He was talking shit all on Twitter.
And in our group chat, like, he just would not stop constantly shitting on it.
I don't think I could ever do that.
You couldn't.
He said the sequels are not canon. So.
Oh, Connor. Oh,
good old Connor.
You're gonna pull us off.
Anyway, the reaction to this, I saw this was the greatest Star Wars that I've seen in the past, since Disney bought Star Wars. To this is boring, repetitive. This is not the Book of Boba Fett. This isn't Star Wars. It was all over the place. But I think what we all can agree on is that it was a lot. There were so many, oh my God, are we really doing this moments, to quote Finn. There's a lot going on. It's incredibly dense. As Stefan says, it has everything. So let's start off with what we liked. And Lauren, since you don't think you've been on the show before, I kind of want to start with you. Did it work for you? Did you think it was too much? Did you think the narrative was all over the place? What were your initial thoughts on episode 6?
I absolutely loved it. I think I loved it because of just how much it does connect to, I think, the overall story of like this Mandoverse that we're in, like from Mando season 1, season 2 to Boba Fett. I mean, they've talked about it. Kathleen Kennedy, I think Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau. They've talked about how these shows will connect, and they're doing it. And they're connecting through Clone Wars.
Bill,
they're connecting through, Rebels. Obviously, like there's so many threads that they're touching, and like just to see everything come together in this one episode, it was amazing. Like I didn't expect it. I'm glad we got it. And I'm 100% like I was on board with it from minute 1 until the credits rolled. Like it was amazing. It was just visually great. Storytelling was great. It felt like, this whole series for me so far has felt like Clone Wars, really, in a way. Like you're with people in the certain era, like they were in the Clone Wars era, and sometimes we were with Anakin and Obi, sometimes we were with bounty hunters, we were with Ventress for a few episodes. So it just feels that, to me, that's how this series has felt, and I'm okay with it. Like, I'm okay with it. I loved it.
I love that comparison because I think that's spot on. And like, given who was the director and the writer of this episode, Dave Filoni, as people call him, co-writer, co-writer Dave Filoni. I think you want to I think that makes sense as to like why he would want to would write a story like that. Connor, I know you were I know you said Trey quoted you earlier. This retcon the sequels suck. Fire Kathleen Kennedy, all that stuff. Why did it
by the name Doomcock?
Yeah, why are you Doomcock?
Yeah, I'm actually I'm surprised, everyone. I'm actually Doomcock.
Secrets out, Connor's
Jared's been talking about Doomcock, and I've just been trying not to tell him. Just been put the cat's out of the bag. So here you go, Jared.
So I think in our group chat you mentioned that like something felt off to you, or not off, but like it just didn't connect with you, even though like what you were seeing on the screen was like things that you'd always wanted to see. What have you been able to, pinpoint exactly what it is that was missing for you? Tell me what your reaction was to episode 6.
Okay, so my reaction to it, I was like, that was pretty good. I can't remember really. Like, I didn't think it was anything absolutely incredible like episode 5 and episode 2 were, but like I thought it was all right.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I will get in on. I will get in.
Okay, we'll get on
later on.
Gotcha.
But just there's something about Dave's live action storytelling. And
sorry, Dave who?
I'm not saying it.
Dave
I'm
who?
not saying it.
Dave who? I don't know who Dave is. Like Dave Bird from the hit FX comedy Dave?
No, Dave.
Oh, there he is. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Something about Filoni's. You guys did this to yourself. Something about his live action storytelling, especially in this episode, just like I just was not vibing with it. Like it's just like it was just too crowded. And
that's fair.
I can understand that.
While the story we saw was just really, really, really cool with Luke and Ahsoka, and especially Cad Bane.
There it is.
A
beautiful blue boy, as we've been saying this entire time.
I will get into that.
I think.
Are you okay?
I'm a little worried for Connor there.
Connor, that was
kind of went off the rails for a little bit about Cad Bane, and
which just like
Cad Bane and Connor getting a room together. Interesting.
No, he would kill me because he would.
Well,
he would.
That could be fun, you know. If you know what you're doing.
I mean, if you're into that sort of thing, Connor,
and
I'm not.
Sort of thing,
I'm not.
Cool.
I choose life. It's just like I think I said it in a group chat I'm in with Trey and Bill.
Thank you.
I
did it wrong, but yeah, keep
like this episode felt like a sort of microcosm of just like a vibe I'm not just getting with Dave Filoni's storytelling with live action Star Wars. And I think again, I love that he created Ahsoka. It's really freaking cool. But like she doesn't need to be in everything. And
I will fight you.
That's here we go. This is where the friendship ends.
No, it's just like it was cool she was there. I think it's the way I could describe this episode is the way I could probably describe Kylo Ren's arc in the Duel of the Fates story.
You mean Ben Solo?
Lauren.
Yes.
Lauren.
I
like
good.
your style.
That was good. That arc for Kylo Ren / Ben Solo in Duel of the Fates was really good, just not the right time to me. And that's kind of the same thing here, where it's like it's really cool we got Luke and Ahsoka, but like Book of Boba Fett, like
does it?
I don't know. It just felt odd that like 30 minutes, like a chunk. I don't know how long, but like a chunk of that episode was just Luke Skywalker with Grogu, and like Boba Fett literally pulled a Bad Batch episode 8 where he made a cameo in his own show.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, and like I
That's
think
fair.
like mechanically it just feels weird to me, but like thematically, like I think honestly, like
so and this isn't saying how I feel or not. I don't think this is what Filoni, or I didn't say his full name. Or wait, was it? That's what Dave.
No, it's just his full name.
Do you think? And once again, I'm saying this just because like I think this might pinpoint how you're feeling. Does it feel fan fictiony to you? Is that what kind of how you?
I don't want to say like fan fictiony because like fan fiction I think has just devolved into this like negative connotation, and like there's some just great fan fiction I've
for sure
read. And like it just I think honestly just overcrowded felt like it, because like, and the fact that we spent so much time with Luke and Grogu in this episode, I was just like, this is great, but like I wish this was in another show. Or we just like it's just the vibes were weird.
I can understand why, like, I think Alden Diaz, our friend Alden, has explained, like, you know, a lot of the complaints of last week's episode were that, like, oh, this felt like Mandalorian season 2.5 basically,
and like that's what this internally Lucasfilm, I think. I want to say internally that's what they've referred to this as, is Mando season 2.5, and like that instead of going with the whole 101 with a new series like they would do, they just wrote the production episodes as if it was season 3.
I got
as like 301. So like I get it. It just feels really weird because like
now Trey, for our audio listeners, Trey is shaking his head. Trey, I'm assuming you fall someplace differently than Connor. Where do you fall? Are you more with Lauren? Are you in the middle, or where are you? Tell me. Where are you, Trey?
This was my reaction.
Nothing prepares you for this. Cheered, shouted, I fist pumped the air, cried, I stood and cheered it. Absolutely everything that you hoped it was going to be.
Okay. have
You're not
pictures
wrong.
of
You're
myself
not wrong.
reacting to this episode. This was the first picture. I was crying. And then Ahsoka showed up, and that was my face.
You're telling a story. Like you're
Yes.
telling through the video. You're telling me a visual, beautiful story, and I appreciate it.
Like Dave Filoni did in this episode. Yeah, I agree with you. But I mean, like, I respect what Connor's saying. I agree with what Lauren said about this episode. I really, really like this episode. Like, I understand the complaints of Boba Fett was a cameo in his own show. I get it. It was funny for 2 seconds. All right. We all had our jokes. But there was just something so magical about this episode to me. Seeing Din Djarin go to this planet where Luke Skywalker is training Grogu, having him see R2-D2 alone made me go like, holy shit, like this is crazy. And then we see Grogu training with Luke, and I'm like losing my mind. And then my favorite freaking character in Star Wars shows up, the ant droids that are building Luke's temple. It was crazy. I love those guys. And Ahsoka. Those are two of my favorite characters in Star Wars.
You're forgetting someone very, very important, which, you know, in kind of how I feel about it, the episode, like I said earlier, it's a lot, but like Trey was saying, I understand the complaints of like people saying that like it doesn't feel like a Book of Boba Fett show. Who cares? Like the stuff that they gave us was was stuff that I have wanted to see for forever. Like, you know, if they had just like we haven't even talked about.
Connor wants to interject.
No, I just kind of remembered another thing.
Go ahead.
I think I would really, really, really really liked all this stuff if it was animated, because I am big on animated Star Wars, and like just Luke and Ahsoka.
I have a saying
is
about
so
animated
cool.
Star Wars.
But
what is that saying, Trey?
Animated Star Wars is the best Star Wars.
Amen.
So like all the stuff that happened in this episode, if this was animated, I would have pretty much been Trey. I would have been like dead. I would have ascended. I would have ascended. I wouldn't have gone to work that day.
So then why live action then? I'm kind of curious.
Like I don't. It's just
just because it was live action.
He's speechless.
I think it was because I think just the quality of animation that we have with Star Wars, and just like the amount of different styles that they could do to still make it unique and fresh is just something I really appreciate. And I think the fact that they're doing live action is cool, but like, I don't know. It's just weird. See, like, I don't think I could still ever get used to Ahsoka in live action. It's just like weird.
That's fair. I mean, that's cool.
I think
so.
What struck me about this episode is that like any of the big surprises that are in it, like if you had just done one, like that would have been an incredible episode of Star Wars. Like you start off with Slob on that Cobb Vanth. Like that's literally
that
like
was great.
Like it's
that was
just
great.
And like I don't know what it is, but like the second time he said think it through, like I kind of felt something, like I got butterflies a little bit, like the way he said it, and like think it through, like just like because the first time he did it was kind of just like, you know, think it through, but then like after all he did all that stuff, but like my point before was like any one of these surprises would have been enough for one episode, but the fact that we got not just like Cobb Vanth showing up, we got Ahsoka and Luke showing up together, which I thought they were going to save for the Ahsoka show, or, you know, hell, they could have done it in Mando season 3 or done it somewhere else. The fact that we got that for the first time in Book of Boba Fett, like that, the show will always hold a special place in my heart, because that is an interaction I think that people that have been watching animation since or through Clone Wars to Rebels to now, like that is something they've wanted to see. And like, there's just something so magical about Ahsoka saying so much like your father. And
I lost it.
I'm a friend of the family.
A friend of the family. Oh my, like
that got me first. And then when she said,
I literally
Just
the
like your
two
father.
Funkos I have next to each other are Ahsoka and Luke, and now that like they literally have met each other in live action, is so, like
And they're besties. They're
yes,
besties.
yes,
I
Like
love
this
it.
is
I
not their
love
first
it.
she's
meeting.
yeah.
she's
Oh,
basically
God.
Luke's aunt, you know.
And I
So
love
cool.
it. I love
It's
it.
so cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it felt magical, and like as I've said on the show many times, like anything Star Wars, if I go to the movies, like I go in like wanting to like it. So like I go in first seeing what I want to see, like some like the things that I want to like. So like that's what I always like focus on, and then like subsequent watches, I'll like find little things to nitpick on. But like it's just so over. There's so many things to like in this that like I understand. Like I understand where Connor's coming from. I understand where people are coming from, where they're like, "Oh, this is this feels like it shouldn't be
And
here."
Mm-hmm.
I just there's so much to like that. Like just like it, like just like something.
Bill's like holding you by your shoulders, being like, just
Like
like it,
something.
just like
Just
it.
like it. Just like it. Um, it's just
I need
so
a
much to
shirt of
like.
that now.
It's like,
Just like it.
Just
Racial
like
celebration.
it.
just like it. It's not that hard.
But
But
yeah,
I
no,
like. Go ahead, Connor.
no, I think another thing is that hi Nick.
Hey,
Hi,
Nick.
Nick.
Hey, Nick.
Go Cats.
I think
There you
another
go.
thing is that like I've recently figured out I'm so into the like new with Star Wars that like going back and seeing like legacy characters meet each other and just interact with each other. It just feels off to me.
Mm.
And I think just my whole thing of just being like, I just want new Star Wars all the time just kind of taints my perspective just a bit. So it's just kind of like, it's something I'll have to work with. But like, I know in due time that like, we all know Filoni's like a long-term guy. Like we all know that. Like, and we obviously know that like the Mandoverse is building up to something.
You're doing it on purpose, and like I
I'm
love you, but I
actually
hate
not-
you. You know
I'm
what I'm saying?
actually
Connor said,
not.
I hate Star Wars and I'm making Bill and Trey black out. Yeah.
No, I actually am not doing like just. I don't know. I like Dave. I like what he's doing.
Mhm.
I just don't vibe with his recent storytelling that much, and that's completely fine.
Well, and
I have a
loved it.
question
That's
though.
fair.
Go ahead, Trey.
Is your issue like you said you wish this was an animation? So like your problem wasn't necessarily the story, it was just the medium that it was told. Is that what I'm vibing from you?
I think it was both. Like I don't know. Like there's a lot. I think again it would have been really cool for like Boba Fett to be here, but like I also get like the whole like anthology sort of thing, and with the whole thing of like it's basically Mando season 2.5, but like also I want my Boba.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish the show was titled something differently because I think a lot of our
Yeah.
complaints with this is because it's called the Book of Boba. You know, like at that investors meeting that we all lost our minds about, they were like, Chapter 3 of The Mandalorian is coming fall 2021 or whatever, and then
December
they retitled
21.
it.
And,
And then they retitled it Book of Boba. And if it was just called like The Mandalorian Creed or something like that,
I think because like this obviously like this show obviously has like roots in the Underworld series that Lucas did between the time of Revenge of the Sith and when Disney bought Lucasfilm. So like I think there's something to that because like I think if you would like Book of Boba Fett like immediately like insinuates that like this is his story, like, and like I really have what I love about Boba is Tamara Morrison. Like everything that I love about him is that actor. He brings so much to that role.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you name a show The Book of Boba Fett, you are automatically have expectations of this is just going to be solely about Boba Fett, when I think, and I hate when people compare Marvel to Star Wars, I always hate but like it's a bigger universe, and I think Adam Frazier made the point today. He did an excellent thread where like he basically said that like, hey, when they first announced this, like Trey was saying earlier, this was a continuation of where we are, and this is a continuation of the Mandoverse, as you said earlier, Lauren. Mm-hmm. I think we need to go into it thinking that it's a continuation of that. This is a broader world, and sure, they're going to focus on Boba like more than they would in the Mandalorian, but like this is still continuing that shared universe. And I
think it just needs to not let the discourse get to me, because it gets to me.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point, Connor. That like the discourse, I think, like I know, and I don't know how you guys feel, but like on a Wednesday after I watch it, like a lot of times I'm just like pumped, like, oh my God, what did I see? And then you go on like social media, and then people are just like, I hated it. I don't understand why they're doing it. You're just like, did I not watch like what?
Lauren, next time you DM me, and we can just gush about it.
I will.
Because like,
but that's very true though, Connor. I think sometimes like the discourse can like get into your mind, like, well, maybe I did miss something, or maybe I'm missing something. But
there are,
I don't know.
There are two quotes that like I always, when thinking about Star Wars fans and Star Wars Twitter, nobody hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans.
True.
And George Lucas famously said that he made Star Wars for 12-year-olds, and Star Wars Twitter proves that every day. So
can I add one more?
Absolutely.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
Thank you, Qui-Gon.
Very true.
That's all of social media.
Truly. So like I said earlier, if you like it, I think we see the negative stuff more than we see the positive stuff. When there's overwhelming positivity in this episode, in this community. So like just see the light. But I
don't hate it. I don't think it's in my nature to just hate anything. There's very, very few Star Wars things that I hate. And by very, I mean literally two things.
Mm-hmm. Breaking news, well-known Star Wars podcaster Connor Giacchini says Dave Filoni ruined his childhood. I don't know if
I wish that were the case.
Connor, what are the things that you hate in Star Wars?
Pong Krell.
Dude, I just showed Jess that arc, and it was brutal.
She hated it? Like,
brutal. Like,
what did she think?
I mean, like, the whole time you're like, what the F? Like, what the, like, what is going on? Why does this guy hate the clones? And like, Rex is just like the whole time, and
that was a really good Rex. Like that, even audio wise, it was still a good Rex.
Yeah, it's that and the Jabba scene in A New Hope.
That's really? Wait, so are we talking like OG, like
no, we're talking like
human Jabba, or are we talking the
special? No, we're talking about special editions.
Yeah,
that is the worst thing in Star Wars, Connor. So like I will give you that.
This is a side note, and like we'll get back on track here in a little bit, but like,
no, we won't.
We will. Trey, we will.
Okay, Matt Murdock. Okay.
The thing with the special editions, like, I watched like when I was a kid, I watched the.
I was a boy.
When I was a boy, yes. The OG like Fox like VHSs, like where they like had like the despecialized or whatever. That was cool. For me, like seeing the special editions was a treat. Like it was something like, oh, this is something new that I haven't seen before. It's something familiar, but like it's new. Like they added all the new the special effects and stuff. The Jabba scene for me I thought was cool, and like what I always liked about in Empire.
New Hope?
I always liked it. Like I just like. Because whenever I watched the special editions, it was a treat because like it was something different than I had seen before. So like it felt cool. And then like of course in Empire, the special edition where they like I think the OG they didn't show the blood or something when they sliced off the Wampa on Hoth. But I'm not. I can't. But yeah, I always thought the special editions were a treat to watch. But anyway, back on track. Speaking of structure, we've talked a little bit. I think Connor has talked about the structure of the episode, where it kind of felt a little
wonky.
That was also a big complaint I saw, that it was kind of wonky. It was messy. I guess, Connor, I know your answer, but Lauren, did you vibe with the structure of it? Did you not like it? Did you think it worked well? Would you have done it differently? What do you think?
I mean, I like the structure. I mean, I like how the very first, obviously, scene was with Cobb Vanth.
Mm-hmm.
You're setting stuff up in Tatooine where we've been, and how his involvement will be, how he will be involved in the story. So that's cool. And then obviously we go right from, right of last week, Mando saying I have to go see a little friend. And of course that's where we're going. Like that's where we went. And we were there for a 25
minutes. Yeah.
Before we even went back to Tatooine.
And I was like, I didn't even care. Like, I was just like, I don't even know what I'm watching right now, but I love it because I'm just vibing with it so hard. Like I expected to see a little Ben Solo pop up somewhere. Like it was crazy. So
why you're doing that on purpose now? You're doing that on purpose.
So I did like structurally I liked it because I think it you go off of what happened last week, and you follow it up, and then you get back to Tatooine, and now you are in that storyline, and now we know obviously next week is going to be all Tatooine. It's going to be all that. And then I think a lot of, I mean, for me personally, I think we're getting a season 2. So like,
oh yeah, same.
I don't know why. Like, I get it. Like again, I get kind of like I get why like people would be like, where's Boba? What are we doing? And all that stuff. Like I get that. But for me, like I said
I think
earlier,
that's the thing
like,
people forget is that like we're most likely getting a season 2.
Right, and that's
the
big.
thing you forget, Connor.
That's right.
I actually don't forget that.
Just you.
But like I said earlier, like I just feel like this series has been very like Clone Wars-esque. Like, hey, first 3 episodes we were with Boba, and then the next stuff we're kind of with like a bunch of people, and then now we're gonna be with maybe the whole gang again. Like, I'm okay structurally how they have done this show. Like I'm okay. I love it. And obviously next week, I think obviously is going to be very, very cool because I think a lot of stuff is going to happen.
I want to make a point that, and I want to see if people agree with it. I think season 1 of Book of Boba Fett is better than season 1 of The Mandalorian. Yes or no?
I haven't even tipped your take.
That okay? There you go. That's
I've enjoyed this.
I'm not fully tipsy. Like I like. Okay. I know we've been saying the name.
Our two lovely
lot,
guests have been saying the names, so I can neither confirm nor deny if I am tipsy enough to make this take.
You might very well think that. I couldn't possibly comment.
I enjoyed this show, I think, more than I've enjoyed The Mandalorian. Just in general for the first 2 seasons, I've really enjoyed. Yeah, cool. Yeah. I've really enjoyed getting to know Boba. I really love the stuff with the Tusken Raiders, and Chapter 5 of the Book of Boba Fett was like one of my favorite pieces in Star Wars ever. I think that like if you were to tell me like, hey, you get 1 episode of one show to show someone what Star Wars is, I might show them Chapter 5 of the Mandalorian, of the Book of Boba Fett. I've done that so many times. Yeah. But I would show them, Chapter 5 of the Book of Boba. And then Chapter 6 of the Book of Boba was like everything that I think Connor used the word fan fiction. Like it's like all of my personal fan fictions come to life, which like they're my personal ones. So of course I want them to happen. I was looking forward, or I was hoping at one point Ahsoka would meet Luke, just because in the episode of The Mandalorian where Ahsoka she's in a dark place. We see that she's not necessarily the Ahsoka that we know. She seems a little bit off. And I think what happened, at least in like my own headcanon, is that she was really struggling with the death of Vader and she didn't know he turned to the light. So she goes and she meets Luke, and Luke tells her, I want to tell you something. Your master, my father, in his dying breath told he made it right. Anakin came back and he did what was right. And that was all Ahsoka had been wanting for 10 years to find out. And in this episode, we find out that like she's back to being Ahsoka. She's back to like having that light in her eye. And I think Rosario's performance was really great in this. So these last 2 episodes were just, if it wasn't called the Book of Boba, like I would probably love them even more, but I don't really care that they're in this show. Like it's not a negative for me, but I've loved these last 2 episodes so much. Bryce Dallas Howard, Dave Filoni. I'm out of my drink, so I'll drink next time. I just love these episodes, and I'm so happy they're in Star Wars. And we haven't even talked about Luke's deepfake yet. I think that's something
not yet.
About, but.
Before we get into that, I do want to say that I think that Ahsoka and Luke's relationship, if they choose to explore it more, could easily be one of the most thematically rich relationships in Star Wars. Like there's just so much. Oh, like the fact that Luke didn't get to know his father until the end, and Ahsoka knew his father when he was at his best. Like, I just think that there is so much that they can learn from each other. I think that there's just so much you can explore with that.
They can heal each other.
Exactly.
Honestly. They can
Beautiful.
heal each other.
Effing beautiful.
Ahsoka saw him turn to a person that she would have never thought he could. Luke saw him in that form and finally saw the man that he has always been. Mm-hmm. And now they can talk about that. And Absolutely. Now Ahsoka can feel that everything's fine. And Luke can feel God, yeah, dude, he was awesome. Absolutely. Cool. And Absolutely. And that's beautiful. And I can't wait for them to explore. I really want that conversation. That's my one of my wishes is to have that conversation, and I want to see it. I want to see it. I need to see it. I want
Ahsoka to tell Luke about Padme too. I feel like Padme is someone who we really, as a fandom, not maybe as a fandom, but as general Star Wars fans forget about. There's so much of Padme and Luke and Leia. Mm-hmm. And I would love if Ahsoka would be your father is great, but your mother was also the coolest person in the galaxy as well.
Some people could argue that Luke is maybe even a little bit more Padme than Leia is. I feel you could say Leia is really more of the do it, I'm going to do it my way, headstrong. And
she's
Luke
headstrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Luke is kind of more of like Padme, not passive, but very kind of more calm,
thoughtful,
and Yeah, exactly.
That's that's beautiful. These are the kind of conversations where we talk. Anytime Padme's mentioned, it's just thought. This is the Star Wars conversations I love, where it's pointing out something that I've never really thought of before. It's how Padme and Luke have a lot in common, and how Leia and Vader have a lot in common. It's good shit. That's just like it. But talking about exactly, Connor, like it. Speaking of Luke,
he's going through it.
he's really been through it all. I want to talk about, and Trey, thank you for mentioning this. Seeing the progress that we've got in the deep fake from the end of Mando season 2 to this episode. Me personally, I think especially the beginning, when you're you first see Luke again, they're just sitting there, that's Mark Hamill in 1983. It's 1983 or 1984, I guess, in this case, because it's a year or two after, and he's training Grogu. The technology, it continues to catch up to the medium. Connor, did it work for you? Did it not work for you? What did you think of the is it deep fake? Is that what we're calling it, or is
no? I don't
the DH
It is a deep fake. No, it is a deep fake.
Okay,
they hired the guy who does deep fakes. So
yeah, it looked fantastic.
Better or worse than Tarkin in Rogue One?
I think
they spent more money on that, but at the same time, I think that the technology's gotten further.
Armando's right, dude. I need more.
Agreed. I think better, but it's I'd have to say better because there's something about Tarkin in Rogue One that I still really like it, but it feels just off. And
you want to hear something really weird? I'm going to say something, and you're not going to. Rogue One was 5 years ago.
Rogue One's awesome.
It's crazy.
Like, and so like the jump in technology from 5 to 6 years ago is crazy. Like what they would spend millions and like a lot of the budget in Rogue One went into Tarkin. It's just, you know, you can do different things now. So
wait, I thought it was 6 years ago.
it will be in December.
It was 2016, but it was like 5
It was
years
December
and
of
3 months,
2016.
2 months.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
They've come a long way in that. In that
yeah, and
technology. It's scary. I mean, honestly, if you think of like how
it freaks me out.
It's amazing. I mean, like that shot when you first see him just kind of meditating, and I'm like, dude, did they actually cast somebody to play him? I'm like, what the hell is going on? And like how clean it looked.
Oh yeah,
it was really something good. Like for me, not to nitpick on it, like when he did start talking at some shots, not all of them, but some shots you could tell like, all right. The mouth is very hard to do though. Like they haven't.
Yeah, that's what I noticed too.
So, but I'm okay with that. Like I was like, it didn't take me out. Like I'm cool. Like I understand. And so they were very smart in using like a lot of his conversations when you didn't see him talk a lot. Like you would, like when he was talking to Grogu, he was walking and the camera was behind.
Yep.
So like they were smart in what they were doing, but they knew like when the shot was in his face, dude, it was seamless. Like it was beautiful. It was seamless. Like that, even like when his conversation between him and Ahsoka was really well done. Like as far as like again, the mouth thing I didn't really see. Like it was just overall very, very well done.
And like that's an interaction. Like if there was something off about the technology, like immediately you would have been taken out of it. But like because it's so seamless, like it's just Luke's talking to Ahsoka. This is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I get emotional thinking about like Ahsoka and Luke talking. Like I'm just like I've been wanting that for so long, and freaking Dave gives it to me in this episode of Boba Fett. Like I'm
gonna take that as a Filoni.
I think
I didn't say it, but hey.
The one thing I found just odd with it was just the dialogue. It felt, and I think they talked about it. How they put it in like a sort of like a resynthesizer app, AI thing, and it just felt like there was no real inflection, and just that didn't really take me out of it. But I was like, I wouldn't have minded if someone else played them.
I think there are some lines in it that they would have done well to remember what Harrison Ford said to George Lucas. You can write this shit, but you can't say it. You know, it's
right.
There definitely is some stuff like just words that like I forget. Like because I watched it right before we came on, and it was like you couldn't have like done a slang. Like you could like he said hello instead of hey or something like that. Like Ahsoka, no, even Ahsoka said something where it's like I want to show you something or something like that.
Yeah.
Where it was like it felt a little wooden, which you know.
It's an AI thing. Like I get it, but like
I think I
hate Star Wars.
We hate Star. No one hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans. I do think that
this is my Village and origin story.
It is. But like, and I'm gonna have to take a drink after saying this, but like, I think we're getting into the territory of like Filoni adhering to what George did. And like I think he is the Padawan to the master to a fault. And like and you know what's great about Filoni is what's great about Lucas. What's terrible about Filoni is what's terrible about Lucas. Like, and not that there's a lot to be like that's terrible, but like their flaws, like Filoni learned directly from him. So like it would make sense why like the things that don't work particularly well are the same things that don't work particularly well in the prequels. With anything,
you know what does work particularly well?
Tell me about it.
Luke using the Force to pick up Grogu and have him do his little jump.
Yes, it does.
While they're on the Force trail. I cooed at that moment.
I loved it.
That was great.
How like
loved it so much.
So how do we feel about Grogu's training? Like,
I have another video for
Mabel. Go ahead. Okay, you have a video for it. Connor, did it work? Okay, go ahead.
Oh no,
Sensational, baby.
It says sensational. I don't know if that was loud enough. Hold on.
Yeah, I
Sensational.
and I thought it was really cool. And like, this is the part of the this is an aspect of the episode I just loved a lot. This Luke felt very, like, I keep using the word in conversation, but like, it's the only word I can think of. He felt very prideful. Like, and it's not the right word, but it's like a sort of, I kind of know what I'm doing. And we're all just, and we as the fandom are like, no, you really don't.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Really freaking don't.
Been a Jedi for like 2.5 years.
I love a lot of people have made comparisons that, you know, other podcasts I've listened to and other people have made the comparisons of this Luke in particular really vibing with the Luke we saw in Battlefront 2 in that storyline.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
And it really does, and I love that take because it's like, yeah, dude, like in that story, like he felt the same way. Like he was just like very like he knew what he was doing. He's very self-assured, and like it was just, I got those vibes once somebody like brought that to my attention. I'm like, yeah, dude, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Well,
like how that works.
I got with this, I think with the main difference for me with the Battlefront 2 Book of Boba thing is that, like, in Battlefront 2, he's very, he still feels very like compassionate and everything. And in this one, I think it's just because of the technology more than anything, probably. But like, he felt very, I don't want to say cold. That's not the right word. But like, for lack of a better term, like cold quotation marks.
I think what my problem with Luke in this is that, from my understanding of what he tried to do with the Jedi after Return of the Jedi, was that like he tried to like take it in a new direction. Having it, and I want to talk about this a little bit later, having Grogu choose, but in like basically keeping away from his dad and like having him choose between the Mandalorian side of him or the Jedi side of him, it just doesn't feel like what you should try to do after the Jedi have so obviously failed. And like,
yeah, I get that.
Using this the dogmatic view of the Jedi, when it says that you can't love, that's stupid. Like, it's just like you're not learning the, like, and I want to talk about the choice at the end, because I think I have some theories about it, but like,
same.
How do you feel about Luke taking that? Like, it's the view of the Jedi of the Republic. Like, you can't have any attachment. What do you
not
guys
the good
think about
Republic, mind you.
Connor, what do you think about that?
I think
the sober Republic, not the High Republic.
Yeah, like, obviously. I think it's pretty in character. I think it feels jarring a bit because, like, we just haven't seen his full journey yet. Like, we've seen bits and pieces. Like, literally, the only post-Return of the Jedi stuff we have is the Rise of Kylo Ren comic, the Book of Boba Fett, Mando Season 2, Battlefront 2. And there might be something I'm missing. But, like,
a little in Bloodline, maybe? A little bit?
Yes, that's the other one I was thinking of. Yeah, Bloodline. Just like, we get bits and pieces of it, and we don't really have the full picture of it yet. So it feels jarring, but like, it makes sense to me, at least, that like he acts like this sort of, even though I've literally learned of the Jedi like 2 years ago, and I learned them from 2 Jedi who kind of weren't like super vibing with the like with how Jedi should be, and more so just like the Jedi Order and Council of the prequels, just their dogmatic and sort of their dogmatic nature. I can't think of another word for it. And it's just like, I'm going to take that and try to change some of it, but also like just push it forward. Because like, my theory is that I'm hopeful, I hope this is right, is that it's a test, and like he's just like, this is a test, Grogu. And I kind of and like, but if I were to hope what he would choose, I hope the mithril armor.
I don't know if it's really like out of character for him to think of attachments in the way he is, because obviously the way he has been taught through Yoda and through, as far as we know, a little bit of Kenobi, like that was a big thing that they were taught. So like, it makes sense that he's still kind of following that, because obviously he doesn't really know much outside of what he has been taught from Yoda, more so than anybody. So like, I don't see it too much out of character as far as like the whole attachment, how he feels about it, because it's just how he has been told that this is what the Jedi do, this is how they act, this is how they should be.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
I'm okay with it. Like, I'm okay with how that's being portrayed. Now, obviously, I think that might, and it probably will change, maybe, but who knows? I mean, we know that his journey gets him to the point where he obviously feels that he totally jacked up and he exiles himself. Like, and then obviously it takes Yoda to bring him back and be like, dude, failure is the best teacher. So like, I'm okay with it. I understand it. Like, and I think it makes sense that that's how he
Same.
feels.
Yep.
What do you think, Trey?
Just about Luke?
Yeah, about the, we've been talking a little bit about how it feels like he's going back to the dogmatic view of the Jedi, where it's, attachment versus love, and like my friend Beth Dunstan, like, she suggested we talk about how Filoni and Lucas deal with the love versus attachment aspect of it. Do you think that it's a mistake to go back to what the Jedi were doing, because the way that Luke is doing it in this episode feels very Republic-y, like Jedi, like it doesn't feel like what he was, what I've been like led to believe that his new Jedi Order would be.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things. I guess with Luke Skywalker, like the main thing for me is Luke's attachment to his father, his willingness to not give up, in the light inside of him save the universe. So it's a little bit weird to me that Luke is like, no, you can't hold on to your father, basically. Yeah. You have to choose and like let him go or be with me. That feels a little bit like Jon Favreau just being like, well, we need to set up conflict for season 3 of The Mandalorian. So Luke's going to have to tell Grogu, you have an ultimatum, choose the red pill or the blue pill. And in my opinion, Grogu is going to choose to go with Din. I mean, Din's N1 starfighter literally has a little hole in or like a little cockpit in the back of it.
It's for him.
Little green alien. Yeah. But I also can see the side of Luke that's like attachment. My father's attachment led him to become the most insidious person in the history of the galaxy. So
he doesn't want to repeat that, right?
Yeah.
But your attachment to your father saved him.
Yeah, Luke's an idiot. Let's be real here. Like, everybody forgets that.
I mean, I think Luke in The Last Jedi mentioned the word hubris. That like this kind of cocky nature of the Jedi, their hubris led them to their downfall. And I think Luke at this point, yeah, he has some of that hubris. He's cocky. He's building his own temple. He has Ahsoka with him, who is probably telling him, how to do this. So I think Bill and I were talking before the show. My biggest issue with this episode is sort of that ultimatum that Grogu was given at the end of it, just because I feel it's like a little bit, I don't feel like it really is in Luke's character. But then again, like if you wanted to argue that Luke saw that attachment was the downfall of his father, I can understand that. I just think that, a lot of us are reading this era of Star Wars called the High Republic. And in this era, the Jedi are kind of allowed to have attachment, and they're not sort of the dogmatic view of the prequel Jedi that we know. So like the prequel Jedi until basically the High Republic came out were like that's the Jedi that we knew. And kind of learning about these other sorts of Jedi that were maybe not clouded by the dark side like the prequel Jedi were. We find that the prequel Jedi maybe weren't this exemplary form of the Jedi that we thought they were. They were messed up. I was talking earlier about how there's an episode of the Clone Wars where Anakin is told that Obi-Wan dies. And like, of course, Anakin's going to turn to the dark side when these seeds are planted in his brain that he can't trust the Council. So there's a lot to be discussed about Luke, but ultimately I find it a little bit weird that he gives Grogu this sort of decision. I think it's mainly just for plot, but that's kind of my only issue with the episode.
I got you. Now, I kind of want to put a pin in the ending of the episode and save that for the end, because I do have.
We've been talking about
we got to talk about the best cameo in this entire.
We
episode.
do. We really do. Because like I think, we've spent this whole episode, the Book of Boba Fett, without talking about. Or we probably won't get to Boba Fett because like there really wasn't a whole lot of Boba Fett in this.
He didn't say anything in the scene.
Not that's true. But
which is very on character for him in the original trilogies. Right?
I want to talk a little bit about Cobb Vanth, Freetown, and of course that big cameo that we got. Or not, it's not even a cameo. He just shows up. The stranger in the desert. Cad Bane shows up.
I was hoping it was going to be Rio Durant.
So, how well do you think his live action debut? Do you think it was done really, really well? Do you think that it could have been different? What would you have changed? Trey, did you like his introduction to live action?
Perfection, beauty, art. It was great. I wouldn't have changed a thing. I thought it was amazing. Who are you going to trust more than Dave Filoni to bring Cad Bane into live action? Yeah. If you're joining us late, every time we hear certain words in this podcast, Bill and I have to drink.
And you don't here. Just this is a neutral. Just to tell people, you say Filoni, Lucas, or Ben Solo. Those are the three words.
I'm not drinking for those ones.
I'm not drinking. Neutral zone. Keep going.
Okay. But no, I mean, I thought Cad Bane looked great, sounded great, and served an amazing purpose. As a big fan of Cobb Vanth and an owner of a Cobb Vanth shirt myself, I was scared shitless when Cad Bane showed up because I'm like, I love this character of Cobb Vanth. You better not kill him. You better not. I will be mad.
Can we just think about the fact that we have a character that originated in a novel in the interludes,
and like a controversial novel too. Like Aftermath was not perceived very well.
No, screw that.
But here, side note, they should definitely I think Chuck Wendig it mentioned hey, saying in the credits thank you to Chuck Wendig for creating this character or something like that. Kind of I think you should do that a little bit. I think give him credit, because it means a lot to him, and having some kind of recognition that hey, this is a character I created.
Putting it go a long way
now. Yeah, a lot of people love him now because of it. Yeah.
But the fact that we're
going forward with Connor.
No, but I'm just saying the fact that we get a book character and a character that only showed up in an animated show facing off in a Western duel is
a really good point. That's a really, really good point.
All the stuff you said, Trey, about Luke and Ahsoka meeting, this was my Luke and Ahsoka meeting moment. What the fuck?
So
this was incredible.
So what you're telling me is that the creators of the show really thought it through?
You'd be surprised.
You'd be surprised.
But
you'd be
for a Star Wars hater, Connor is really, really showing some praise.
I just don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. I'm already getting enough flack.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. No, because I was a bit off-put at first by the really light skin tone and just the scrunchiness of the face, but live action animation doesn't really do so what translations just don't weird.
Ahsoka's whatever they're called.
The Montrals. They could probably still do that. They could probably
I'm still frustrated about that, not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's but Dooku in Clone Wars.
If
Compared
they
to
did like his actual face,
His
like they
face is I don't know what. So like I get that, but like I don't like. You guys probably saw that cinematic captures.
Really cool
thing.
video.
Like yeah, super cool, and like
that got
was
blown
just-
up
followed
into
that guy
a
for, like,
whole
6 years.
stupid article by
Screen Rant because they suck.
Star Wars fans fix Cad Bane.
I know.
Like,
That's so.
Out of here. Get out of here.
That was just really cool.
I felt
and,
so
like,
bad for the creator too because he didn't.
Yeah, that's not
he
what
did.
he did it for, right? He was just doing
He's
it.
just
They're
like,
just
I like
doing
this.
it for
This is
clicks.
fun.
Like that's all it's for. Like it's just
Yeah.
it's so frustrating. But,
But, like,
keep going, y'all.
I think the best thing about Cad Bane's introduction is that it fits. It's perfect for nut job fans like us and fans who have no idea about this character. Because it's like, oh, who's that guy walking in the desert via Frank from the flashbacks in Once Upon a Time in the West? You can't tell me that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau did not directly reference the flashbacks before Harmonica figured out Frank was Frank in the flashbacks.
Like that whole like his intro of him coming in, like
just
I think it's done so well. And like once you finally reveal his face and you have those like red, just blazing eyes and the teeth, like this dude is menacing. Like I think.
Oh yeah,
there's you were talking about like the moving from animated to live action before. Like this dude is scary in live action. Like there's something like there's a horror element to it. At least I think.
No, I definitely agree.
The red eyes and like those teeth, like man, there's just something different
Speaking
about
of dentist. That guy needs a dentist.
Exactly. That dude has gingivitis. He's got 8 cavities. He's sharpened his teeth in a way that is not natural.
And it's just like
the introduction was great because it was very. People have said this comparison. I kind of like it too. Like when Luke and Mando season 2, like, is that him? That can't be. And like little by little, it was slowly shown. And then there's that shot right before he's like really close, and just the trench coat, the hat, and you're just like, oh my god, this is freaking Cad Bane, dude.
He's got to be hot. Hot on Tatooine. He's wearing a coat and a hat.
Yeah. I'm like,
I wonder if the twin sons just destroyed his skin.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people.
It definitely destroyed his nose. So
yeah.
That's like, the thing. Like him saying, I love that. I know, you better not put your nose into things. Like, dude, where's yours? Don't put your
like you have no nose. But like the fact that like fans who have no idea who Cad Bane is just get introduced to him in this way is just wonderful because they now know like he's a guy you don't want to mess with.
And he looks like Bill, I think you were saying earlier, he looks way more honestly menacing than he did in animation, in my opinion.
And the fact that he's working with the Pikes makes so much sense to me.
And I honestly think, I know a lot of people have.
I know what you're about to say, Lauren, and I agree.
I think he's the one that did the Tuscans. He's the one that mauled down that group. He is. I think that only makes it only makes sense.
And like that's why, like I think that the showdown that happens, that's gonna happen next week. I think it's gonna be Cad Bane versus Boba because like that's.
And think of that though too, Bill. And like Boba versus Cad, and then freaking Fennec. They got scores to settle if you watch in Bad Batch. So like that trio, that's gonna be really cool if they can,
if we get a 3-way
9
duel,
other characters that'll show up.
If we get a 3-way, if we get a 3-way duel via the good, the bad, and the ugly between Fennec,
dude.
Okay, it's not really a 3-way. It's not a 3-way duel because like it's not good, bad, ugly unless like Fennec is just like, bam, I'm gonna betray you, Boba. But like
I think that could still happen because like, there are things that like, you know, Fennec didn't show up until much later when Black Cranston was Chrysanthemum.
Say his name,
Black
man.
Cranston. No, Chrysanthemum.
Chrysanthemum.
Am I saying that? If I can say Chakiti, I can say
if you can
Chrysanthemum.
say Chakiti, yeah.
Yeah, you can say my name right, but not a Wookiee's name right. What the heck?
That's so. I'm so sorry.
Chrysanthemum.
Chrysanthemum. I'm so sorry. Chrysanthemum.
But I'm so excited. I really I said it on Twitter, and like a friend of mine and like someone replied like I can't see that happening because Boba seems in like a better headspace now, like a sort of I'm better than someone that will just.
But Cad made a really good point. I think he made a really good point where he said Boba Fett worked with the Empire. Like immediately,
he didn't lie. That wasn't a lie.
No, that's who he was. That's who he was.
You know what you're saying, right, Cad Bane? Like, you know who you worked with? Like, come on, don't do this.
And I kind of want to transition a little bit to slob on that cob. Any chance that he's dead? Like
no. Like people have noticed. I think.
He got shot in the shoulder, man.
He got shot in the shoulder.
Yeah, he got shot.
I'm asking the questions,
and like the deputy got the brunt of it, rightfully so. But like
the deputy got 4 shots. Cobb got 1.
Yeah.
Can I tell you what I've named that deputy?
Deputy dumbass?
No, deputy can in fodder. Like that's all he like. That's
pretty much. You're not
the
wrong.
moment like on the second watch, I was like, oh, that dude's gonna die.
Yeah.
Like, we should have known. We really should have known.
It really only makes sense that, I mean, obviously, Cobb is still alive for many reasons. Obviously, Timmy O, you don't just end
you don't kill off Timothy Oliphant.
You don't get rid of that hairline.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
The Silver Fox is amazing.
That voice, too.
So, I think, obviously, if you're Cad Bane, you leave him alive to then, like, tell and, like, warn and, like, tell people that, yeah, dude, you better not screw around or I'm here to like F around if you do.
Yep.
So just like
I effed around and found out. Cobb Vanth is telling people I effed around and found out. Like
and then
I didn't think it through.
Cobb did the same thing in the very beginning of the episode. It's like a full circle thing. Like Cobb left one guy alive to send a message. That's exactly what Cad's did.
That's a really good point.
That's wow. That's
the same thing. It's the same thing. So
and like at the beginning of this episode, Cobb is kind of like, he sees the Pikes and he kind of has that realization like, damn, this is kind of getting to my town. Like this overall spice trade is getting to my town.
Yep.
And at the end of the episode, we have Cobb kind of being like, this whole town doesn't know of what happened with the Pikes and I, but like, it's hidden too close to home now. I think we're gonna have to get involved, and I just
and the
love
bartender
that character.
He's
such a cool character.
They know. Yep. They know now.
They
that
definitely know. And
and the bartender was like, "We're not doing this." And then the second,
we're doing this now.
It's like no.
That look that the bartender had, like at the end at Cad Bane, that was like, "We're going to effing war."
I'm going to kill Cad Bane.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit him with a bottle of whatever.
And before
I'm just waiting real quick. I'm just waiting for a Mando and Cad little like shootout because that would
that'd be great.
He's getting a Beskar though. I mean, Cad's got to get him in a spot.
Right. I think that'd be a great little.
I really hope Robert Rodriguez does a Western duel. I really hope so because I'm pretty sure
he's directing this final episode.
In the finale because he's done 2 and he said he's done. He said he did.
This is a side note.
Yeah.
What actor who's been in a Robert Rodriguez movie or anything would you love to see cameo? We've already had Danny Trejo as the
Antonio
Rancor
Banderas.
Keeper. Yep, there it is.
That's the correct answer.
There it is.
That's the correct answer.
That is 100%.
Give me Antonio.
Oh, God, that's beautiful.
Amazing.
Absolutely
or even
beautiful.
like very like out of the left field. Selma Hayek just randomly shows up in Star Wars.
Like, and even like any of the Spy Kids showing up too would be awesome because that was
wasn't Taylor Lautner in was he in Spy? No,
he was Shark Boy. Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Yeah.
God, what if Lava Girl shows up?
George Lopez.
Can you imagine? Yeah, George Lopez. Mr. Electric, or whatever his name was. And before we kind of transition into the last question I'm going to ask into it. If anybody in the chat right now has questions that they'd like us to answer, go ahead and put it in the comments right now, and we'll answer it. But I guess what I kind of want to end on is the choice that Luke gave Grogu. We kind of touched on this a little earlier. I have a theory at what's happening.
Yeah, me too.
What would be Lauren? Well, then let's just start with you, Lauren. What would be what's your theory? What do you think's happening here?
Yeah, obviously I know a lot of people are like, why is he giving him a choice? I know we were kind of talking about it, but I feel, and I was listening to the fantastic duo of Force Center, Joseph and Karen, who are
absolutely
my favorite podcast.
Amazing. I love them both. They were talking about this on their kind of recap show, and I loved it, and I think I want to bring it here because I think it's a very good point that like the choice that he is giving Grogu is the one that he had at Empire. Like he could either like disregard what he was being taught and just be with his friends, save his friends. That was one path. Or like Yoda said, don't go, stay here, get fully trained, and then you can, go and, save your friends. Unfortunately, sacrifices have, in Yoda's words, if that's, the sacrifice, then yes, this is you have to choose your path. So that's how I'm like the choice that he is giving Grogu is like the same exact one that he was given at Empire. So I don't like I understand people are like it's it's absolutes and everything. I just don't see it that way. I just see it him giving Grogu the same opportunity and chance that he had when he just first started. Like, okay, do you want to continue this or do you not? I mean, Luke knows that he screwed up. He, didn't really finish what he started, got hurt from it, and then had to go back to Yoda, as we know, and like say, "Dude, sorry, my bad. I need to get my shit together." So like he doesn't.
Dude,
want
sorry,
Grogu,
my bad. Like,
yeah. So like he doesn't want Grogu to maybe make the same mistakes he did, and like, but he wants to give Grogu the choice, just like again, freaking Ahsoka did the same thing in Mando season 2. Like she said in this episode, I'm not gonna choose his path. He has to choose his path. You take him here, and if he calls out to somebody, then that's his choice. It's the same thing. It's the same
hold
thing.
on to the path, and I want to talk about that after we make this point. Because
I got a question.
Armando, we're gonna come back to that because that is
circled.
a wonderful. Hold on to that. Hold that there.
Pin it.
Like it.
Just like it.
Just like it.
But I mean, to wrap up my thoughts, I think ultimately, I think Trey was talking about it earlier. I think it only makes sense that he picks Mando. I mean, I think it only makes sense, thematically and everything. But here's a sneaky thing that I think what could happen is if he does choose Mando, obviously Luke has to take him back to Mando, right? Yo, we're going to get Luke back on Tatooine and like help out.
Stop it. Why would you say that?
Okay.
How dare you?
No,
How dare you?
I'm serious. A friend of mine
dare you?
is thinking the exact same thing because he's like, it'd be really cool and just really thematically
full
awesome,
circle, dude. Yes,
full circle. If like,
so are you suggesting
Fett and Luke Skywalker fight together, and they're just like,
you're suggesting
cool.
You are suggesting it.
Well,
it would be cool. It would be so cool.
It would be again really full circle for Luke though, in a huge way to like go back to the town, the planet that he lived on, and to like want and help out and to make a difference that now that he can. Unlike his dad, who wanted to go back and save everybody, he's fucking doing it, kids. He's going to do what his dad couldn't do.
Why would you say that? My heart. Oh my god.
And I end.
It's almost like poetry.
It almost rhymes, kids. It almost
rhymes.
Yeah.
It rhymes.
Crazy.
Connor.
Yeah. And that's my thoughts.
Connor. Why do you hate Star Wars? Is my question to you.
Good question.
It's a really good question. Okay. There you go.
Yeah. My answer is I don't. Again, not in my nature to hate.
So,
and your hate leads to the dark side.
That's true.
It's actually just suffering. Hate. That's the actual quote.
It's a suffering. So what do you think Grogu's choice, as we're calling it, what do you think it leads to? It's a real Grogu's choice.
It is. I think realistically, I think he's gonna choose the Mithril armor. I'm gonna refer to it as that because it looks straight. It looks like Mithril.
It is.
Okay, no. Mando Mithril. But I'm also thinking this is just a test that Luke's given him, just to see where he falls. And I have another question, but I'll say it after you guys because that's all I have.
Okay.
But I have another question related to Grogu and the flashbacks.
Trey, what do you think?
I definitely don't want to see Luke at the finale of this. I think this happens at the Grogu's decision happens in Mando season 3. I think this was like a direct kind of like plot point for that. Because like if we have Chrysanthemum, Din Djarin,
Boba
Fennec,
Fett.
the Vespa gang, Boba, and Luke Skywalker against just Cad Bane and the Pikes. Like I don't really. That's a little bit too much firepower. But I also think there's another rumored possible character to show up in the finale. But
there's a couple.
There.
To be fair,
there's a couple.
There's a couple.
Connor, this comment. Are you triggered?
I'm not.
I was playing Fallen Order before we started, so like I did Fallen Order and then I watched the Book of Boba Fett episode 6. So like that's the Jakiti special is what I call that. It's...
Alex, it wouldn't be. I hate to say it because like this is the only time I'm like super like quote unquote gatekeepy about anything. I would be fine if we never got Cal Kestis in anything Star Wars other than Fallen Order until after his story is done.
That's fair.
And then just put him in everything. I want Cameron Monaghan in Star Wars, just live action. Put him in. Get him in. I want that man.
He's so good. He's so good for Star Wars.
He is really good, and I hope that like after Jedi Fallen Order 2, putting him in everything, it would just
better not die.
He's not going to die, but I just hope that they're shameless with plugging him everywhere.
Well done,
I love it. I love it.
You.
But
smart reference.
Bill, did you give your thoughts?
Not yet. I actually like.
Bill has no thoughts. It's just vibes.
Just vibes. It's all Matt Murdock vibes. What I think is going to happen. I think, and in talking to friends, where they lay on it.
That's me with Ghost of Tsushima.
I kind of think that like the answer is right in front of us. They've given him 2 choices. Be a Mandalorian or be a Jedi.
Or Grogu can go the really intelligent route and just be like, how about we do both?
Yep, there it is. I think that's what you and that's what I think is going to happen.
I really hope that happens. Now
I think he puts the Mithril armor on and then he takes a lightsaber. Like cuz like he's at that point he's a Mandalorian Jedi. He is the
How can he use a lightsaber when he just figured out how to jump?
No, dude, like he just but like he can do it. Like he's like Luke said, like I feel like he's just remembering. He could just remember.
Just like another Star Wars character.
Just remember and then have the Mandalorian stuff now too. So like he's the next Mandalorian Jedi.
Dude, Grogu's literally just going to be an unstoppable force. Like
post
sequels, unstoppable. Absolutely.
I think that it's right in front of us. Like he's given us 2 options. Why not both? Just do.
Can I make one more point?
Go ahead.
In season 1 of The Mandalorian, we see these flashbacks with Din where he is looking up and something is happening. And we slowly find out that when he was a child, it was during the Clone Wars and the Separatist army was about to kill him and a Jedi saved him. You flash back to Grogu. Grogu is on the other side of this war where the clones are killing him or about to kill him. The clones kill the Jedi that are guarding him and everything. I find it really interesting that, Death Watch, you're right. My bad. That
you're good. It still works.
both Din and Grogu are like children of the Clone Wars. I just think that thematically, like that works so well.
I like
with
that.
They're
those
the
two
same
characters.
age too, like or similar ages.
Similar.
I mean, Grogu is older than Luke.
Yeah.
So,
That's a good point. Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if you had anything more to say, Trey. I didn't want to. Okay,
I just think it's cool that they're both children of the prequels that were affected by the war.
Yeah,
my one question.
Den and Grogu are children of the prequels.
Yep.
That's true.
Who do we think saved Grogu?
Oh man, I don't know.
Cal?
Dude. That's so
Just
hard.
kidding. No, I think it's Obi-Wan.
No.
Armando made his profile picture of me an old picture of me from when I was 8 years in 8th grade, and I hate it.
Is that the Let It Rock picture?
That's amazing.
Is that the Let It Rock?
Armando, I hate you.
That's amazing.
There's a picture of Trey from like 2010 where it's, if y'all ever heard the song by Kevin Rudolph, Let It Rock, where he's got like a car, like a nice Camaro in the background, and Trey's got headphones on. And it just says "Let It Rock," and it's Trey, young Trey Mitchell, getting it, letting it rock. Now speaking of Armando, let's go back to his question we were talking about, like that we said to put a pin in earlier. Why couldn't Grogu remember his home planet? Do you think we'll get more Grogu info? Do you think there will be more Baby Yodas? What do you guys think about that?
For the first question, I just think I think honestly finding out stuff about Yoda's species just might be one of those things in Star Wars we just find out very
it will never happen.
It won't happen.
No.
Can you pull that up again? I'm like trying to remember.
Give me a second.
Yeah, I don't think it's one of those species where I think.
I think we will get more info, and again, I want to.
I don't think we need it though. I don't think we need it.
And do you think there will be more Baby? Probably. But like again, who do you? Who do you?
I don't think so. I don't think we need more. Like we have Yoda, Yaddle, and Grogu. Like I think that's enough. Mm-hmm. I think that like it might be cool if they show that like Yaddle did swoop in and save it, like Alex said earlier. But like, I think it's
Obi-Wan. I don't know why I think it's Obi-Wan. I just do.
My wild guess, Mace Windu.
Windu alive? Oh, dude.
No, not Windu alive. Before he died.
No, I think.
Don't get this conspiracy shit going,
dude. Okay, listen. We're bringing it back to my fan fiction. The one fan fiction that I've ever.
It's so bad.
It's not bad. Shut up. Mace Windu survived Palpatine, and the comic series I wrote was based on.
Are you Star Wars theory?
No, I'm good at what I do, and I'm not problematic. So, anyway,
but yeah, that's just a wild guess of mine. So, other than that, I think like
listen, we're at a point.
Probably Obi-Wan too. Trey, that would be my like. Guess.
We're at a point where DH Luke Skywalker is talking to Ahsoka Tano. Who knows what's gonna happen?
Honestly, right
now,
that's like anything's on the table. I mean, just
especially when Samuel L. Jackson has been like, "Y'all bring me back. Like I will do anything you ask me to do. Just bring me back." You know.
I don't think it was. I mean, it'd be great choices. Obi-Wan would be great. Mace. I mean,
people have been speculating Barriss Offee.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Her symbol was shown in that little flashback.
Yeah. I can't remember. It could have been New Rockstars again. They're a really fun YouTube watch for breakdowns. But
yeah,
I think one of them suggested possibly, and I kind of don't hate it, where they said like maybe it was R2, like maybe it was R2 that saved him while
he's just holding a
Anakin.
Dude, if R2 saved Grogu, that would actually be fantastic because it just shows R2's just
wow.
Yeah, because if he was, I mean, he had like R2 has compartments that can open up. Maybe he stuffed little Yoda.
I would love
R2's the key to all this.
Yeah. That's why they knew each other. That's why he was happy to see him in season 2.
No, here's and this is a one final time I'm saying it so I can drink. As George Lucas said, Jar Jar's the key to all this. Jar Jar saved Grogu from the Jedi Temple.
This is actually a very good theory.
Jakarta, that's possible. It's possible.
I really like that.
Because
or what if it's this is just totally random theory. What if it's the Inquisitor before he turned bad? He was the
Grand
Jedi Temple Guard.
Oh, a Grand Temple Guard. That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all. I wouldn't hate that.
I'll hate it.
Remind me to change his profile picture.
Yeah. I mean, right. I'm just saying he could while Anakin was going all weirdo, psycho, Vader, he could have been like, I think I'll go save this little kid and not tell Anakin and save him. And then maybe he could have gave him to somebody else, obviously, because that's a huge question in Grogu's story. Who saved him? How did he get to where he was when we see him in Mando season 1? And why were those people? Why was he with that group of people in Mando season 1? So there's a lot.
Grogu's gone through some really bad trauma.
Right. I really hope
said, why he can't remember. It's trauma. It's literally
it's PTSD.
Yeah.
I really hope he doesn't survive one purge just to go through another. I really hope not.
I think he'll be okay.
It'd be cool to have Star Wars progress and Star Wars goes forward 400 years whenever we get that story of post sequels, and to have Grogu be a really prominent character that would in my opinion that would feel very satisfying.
That would be really cool.
Have him, to have him be almost like the new Yoda would be very interesting to me.
He's fucking jacked.
Yeah, easily placed and do all that. Yeah,
he's just jacked. He's that picture of shirtless Yoda at a gym taking a selfie.
Put in the work. Put in the hours.
Just like it.
Grogu the Rock Johnson.
Grogu the Nile.
The Nile. Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Any final thoughts on episode 6 of the Book of Boba Fett before we wrap up for the night?
I mean, it was great. I mean, I think just so much stuff that I have wanted to see. Obviously a Luke training somebody. But the biggest one for me was, and again, I think about it and I still get emotional, is Luke and Ahsoka meeting. That's just so huge in so many different ways, and in the bigger picture of Star Wars, those two people knowing each other, and just, I cannot wait for more of their conversations, and I hope we get it. And I hope, in that Ahsoka series, I hope we get that. And, obviously there's rumors of Hayden going to be in that show for however that plays out. I mean, just imagine a Luke, Ahsoka, and Force Ghost Anakin talking. I would just
why,
I would
Lauren?
lose my shit. I would lose my shit, Bill.
It is 9:31 on a Friday.
I'm doing it to myself too, kid. I'm doing it to myself.
God,
I have
that's
work
beautiful.
Tomorrow. I can't.
I know.
Connor has work tomorrow. How dare you?
Sorry, I know.
It's
I
all
know.
good.
I know.
It's all good.
I'll be
Connor.
But yeah, loved it.
Connor, final thoughts on episode 6.
I thought it was fairly neat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it.
Breaking news: a well-known Star Wars podcaster, Connor Giacchetti, hates Star Wars and thinks you're an effing idiot. I grabbed the micro for the first time tonight. I'm holding onto the microphone.
Real special stuff here, folks. Real breaking news here.
Breaking news.
But here's the real kicker, and you might want to hold on to your seats for this one.
Thanks, J. Connor Jameson.
Yep.
J. Connor Jameson.
I'm actually Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Actually, no. Trey.
No, really.
Not Trey character.
No, Trey Spider-Man.
Go ahead, Connor.
No, Trey Spider-Man. So.
I do have a lot of problems in my life, so it makes sense. Everyone hates me.
But yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, Trey, final thoughts.
Amazing perfection, greatness. I really love this. I love this whole season of the Book of Boba. Episode 3 wasn't very good, but the rest of them were very good. Episode 3 was fine. It wasn't bad. but the Vespas were good. It was not because of the Vespas, but I think
like
this
the
was a really
Vespas.
awesome episode. I do too. I'm saying that it's not because of the Vespas. I just thought it wasn't the best, but no, I'm very excited for this finale. This episode was really great. It was, I think Lauren mentioned how it felt like a Clone Wars episode, and I have been rewatching all of Clone Wars, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. I think when Star Wars is an animation, we kind of give it a little more leniency to kind of throw around characters and introduce characters that in live action, like maybe some people take it more seriously, which is bullshit. But I just think this was awesome. Like, we see Luke Skywalker interact with Ahsoka, something I have wanted my entire adult life, and that was so perfect. And it was just awesome. So I love this episode. I love having Cobb Vanth in it. Way more Cobb Vanth is amazing. I don't think Rangers of the New Republic is going to be something that actually moves forward, but if it is, I would love to see Cobb Vanth be a Ranger of the New Republic. I think he stands for everything that is good in this galaxy.
I think Kathy said it was done for.
Yeah, I don't think it's going for it.
But hey, Cobb Vanth spinoff limited series, gimme.
Yeah, then my final thought, just seeing who's the blue guy? Why can't I think of his name?
Cad Bane.
Cad Bane.
Who's the blue?
I was drawing a blank. I've had too many of these drinks. The people were saying the keyword.
That's exactly what Leanne would say. My mother Leanne. Who's the blue guy?
But
even though she's
Cad Bane was just awesome in this, and I loved his design. No issues with that. He was menacing. You know, his hat was like here the whole time, and then we like see his eyes, and it's just menacing and terrifying. And just like this, like the little seeing him with the kind of blur of the desert rays was so cool. And it was awesome. Just very happy with this episode, and
Corey really Burton is just a godsend.
Blue Man Group, the Blue Man for the Blue Man Group. Exactly.
There you go.
That's exactly who he is.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm so glad they had Corey do the voice. That was just
it made it made it like that's like
Corey's in the house now. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely,
a man after my own heart,
for sure. You know, I think as I've said from the beginning, just like it. Just like it. It's not hard. It's not hard.
It's not hard, and it's not really hard to, like, even if you're not big on something like holistically with Star Wars, it's really not hard to be like, this shit was dope. That shit was dope. Like,
there's always good to be found.
Like,
absolutely. Like,
I have to agree with Alex. I don't know why. I think because I watched this episode at like 6:30 a.m. and I just went like, for some reason, like I heard the voice and I'm like, that's Corey Burton. Holy crap, it's Cad Bane. But then there was a small part of me of like, maybe it's not, and I don't know why. So when I saw his name pop up in the credits, I like flipped out. So yeah, got so much joy from that.
Absolutely, I did too. And you know, I want to end with this. I think that this episode is exactly why I love Star Wars, because like it's a silly Western. It's Timothy Oliphant telling people to think it through. It's Luke Skywalker telling a puppet, like, no, that's not how you use it.
Try not. Do.
Like, do. Exactly. It's him telling the story of Yoda to Grogu. It's Ahsoka.
There was a guy who spoke in riddles. Is what he said. Spoke in riddles, and that's the first time anyone in Star Wars has acknowledged just the weird way Yoda speaks. It was awesome.
I'm so
He's
happy.
like, this guy's kind of weird. Why does he speak in riddles? Like, what's going on with him?
It's every aspect of Star Wars that I love in one episode.
Yeah,
and it's just it just makes me happy, man. Like, and that's all I want from a show. Like, it's just something that makes me happy. It's all about vibes. All about
the vibes are immaculate with
vibes.
This episode.
Immaculate. Ahsoka Tano, he is here, and the vibes are immaculate. That's all I have to say about it. That's what I'll end on.
And with that, before the episode that was going to be the episode, I'd be like, I'm crying already.
Exactly, 100%. So, with that is our episode for tonight. That is the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 6. I want to thank our wonderful, wonderful guests, Lauren, and to a lesser extent, Connor.
Connor's just getting punched this episode.
I'm joking. I
don't care. Joking. I've had worse.
Connor, I love you. I give you a sweet kiss.
I know.
Beautiful.
I think Connor has been the person we've had the most on this podcast.
Connor,
I deserve this. Like all this punching. Yeah, I deserve it.
I love you. I love you. You are wonderful. Thank you so much. And Lauren, thank you so much for joining us. Where can the people find you on Twitter? Plug anything you want to plug.
Yeah. So first of all, thanks for having me on. I love talking any Star Wars with all the good people, and thanks for having a female on your show. I love that. Like, again, I got to give props where props are due, and cool, and I love all that stuff. So thank you very much. But
absolutely,
you guys can follow me on Twitter at Loro Knows, and then my Star Wars podcast, the Galactic Podcast, is on Apple Pod, Google Play, Spotify, and we're on Twitter at the Galactic Pod. So go check us out. It's me and my cousin Andrea, and we have like basically a good time like we just had tonight, just talking Star Wars. So check us out.
The best.
Absolutely. Check them out. They are wonderful. And Connor, where can they find you, buddy?
Twitter, Depa Banana. I just talk Star Wars and just vibe.
Called a vibe.
Very vibey podcast.
It's a big vibe. We're all catching vibes tonight.
Pretty much. That's one way to put it. No, at least not on. I mean, on here we were, but like elsewhere.
Oh,
yeah, if you were on Twitter today, Twitter was not a vibe.
Twitter was not a vibe. Anyway, I have other stuff. I have stuff other than Twitter, thankfully. I have a podcast. I co-host with Jared, the Dark Jedi, the Nerd Academy podcast, specifically our Star Wars show, Knights of the Nerd Republic. We talk Star Wars. That's pretty much it. We just vibe. We talk Star Wars really intelligently. It's really neat. And I also write Star Wars fanfic. I write.
But better than Filoni is what you're telling me.
No, at least I don't think so. But like, it's called the SW.
Connor actually gives Ben Solo lines when he turns to Ben Solo.
Why would you do that? We're at the end and you're making me drink. Jesus.
I had to end
Lauren, I love this so much. It's called the SWEU, Star Wars Editor Universe. You can check that out at SW Editor Wow, I'm getting tongue twisted. SWEditorIG.com. I haven't even been drinking. I almost died on water. But so that's a whole fanfic universe. And the big thing about it is that we honor the Star Wars canon. Like we don't really we do our own things and we add to the canon in our own unique ways, but we don't just like sequels and just rewrite the sequels. Like we take what it was in the sequels and we try to do our own thing while honoring
breaking news. Connor Giacchini completely erases the entire sequel trilogy for his own.
He fired. Actually, he's firing her.
Brie Larson's
fully white male Star Wars
fanatic,
story.
Brie Larson.
Yeah, Brie Larson's in Star Wars now, guys. Like, watch this be
Connor.
Watch that be a prediction that comes true someday. I'm just like, why did I say this? But yeah, we write Star Wars fanfic. It's pretty cool. I have some stories coming out in August. So it's gonna be a bit, but they're done. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Gotta wait. It's fun. It's because I've never written really before, so it's just been really interesting just trying to find my style and just what I want to do. So yeah. But yeah, we're not rewriting the sequels. We're just adding to what has been already created with this foundation.
Love it. Love it. And finally,
where can they find you both?
Where can they find you, Trey?
Right here on Twitter. You may not want to follow me this morning.
I do want to follow you.
Tweet about some stuff. Mainly Star Wars.
Call me Uncle Cracker because I'm gonna follow me. Anyway, y'all can follow me on Twitter at Star Wars Bill. Be sure to follow us on the Skywalking Through the League official Twitter on Twitter at Skywalking TL. And I want to say something because I know my sister is watching right now, but she is moving to the big city on Monday, and in New York, and I'm helping her move this weekend. And I just want to say that I am very, very proud of her. She is following her dreams. She is doing what she loves, and I can't tell you how proud I am to be Annie Sheehy's brother. It is.
Can I say something to her?
Sure, go ahead.
Mamma Mia is a masterpiece.
It's true. It's true. Mamma Mia is a masterpiece.
Yep.
Annie Sheehy, you are wonderful. Thank you for being my best friend and the best sister I could ever ask for. With that, we are going to end tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Godspeed.